Hello, I'm Ronnie Eldridge. Welcome to Eldridge and Company. By now we all know about the crisis in Flint, Michigan. But problems with lead go far beyond Flint, far beyond the United States, and far beyond water. There's no one better to tell us about this than Jack Caravanos, a global environmental health expert and professor of environmental health at the City University's School of Public Health. He's my guest today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It is an incredible thing that in this day and age, we're still having problems with lead in water, in pipes, to schools. How does that happen?
Well, it is a shocker that after decades of managing lead, it still seems that we have these problems. Lead is an old, well-known toxicant. We started managing it in the 50s and the 60s in paint, started taking it out of consumer products, including gasoline. And it's shocking that now, 50 years later, after the birth of the environmental movement, here we are still struggling with lead poisoning in the U.S.
It's really, it's so surprising, but it goes along with an aging infrastructure, doesn't it? A lot of it.
Absolutely. The problem in Flint, especially given that the lead pipes, these are the pipes that go from the middle of the street to the home, which are the property of the homeowner, are still present. And they're actually present in New York and Brooklyn and different parts. They're not well inventoried, so no one knows if the feed coming into their home is a lead pipe. So until all of these are systematically removed, we really won't solve the problem completely.
How do we know? I watched part of the hearing where they were, the members of Congress were so rude and awful, really. No matter how bad the governor was. And the EPA administrator, and I was really surprised at the anger at EPA. So what's EPA's role in this kind of thing?
Well,
national EPA.
Yes, right? Yes, national EPA. The EPA has a Safe Drinking Water Act, which sets standards for how much material is permissible in water. There are two types of standards, and I'll talk about aesthetic standards later on. But essentially, they require the routine monitoring of these elements. So the rules require anybody serving the public must test on a periodic basis, and not just once a year, monthly, a variety of chemicals. So the second part of that is public notification. So there's a piece in the Safe Drinking Water Act that says if you know that the standards have been exceeded, you must tell the public. So there's a couple of faults here. Why did this not happen, and why did it take so long for the truth to come out?
Their anger at the state. So what happens? The municipality tests first,
yes.
Reports to the state.
It varies in different localities. In New York, it's part of New York City DEP that does the testing, and Department of Health does the reporting.
And who do they report to?
Ultimately, it will go to the state health department.
And then that goes to the feds?
That will go to the feds, but the obligation to report to the public that we've exceeded the standard is the supplier of the water. So whoever is delivering the water company.
I see. So we're really kind of spoiled in New York, aren't we, in the city?
Well, we are very lucky in New York. First of all, we have great water, though our infrastructure is not perfect. We also have a very vigorous Department of Environmental Protection that does sampling and sends out the annual water report. But there are pockets of New York City with old housing where you can get some contamination from what they call the distribution system.
Have we really cured the paint level? Do you think that we're doing a good job there?
Oh, absolutely. Residential house paint is a wonderful success story in public health. Regulations were passed on limiting lead. There was a lead-based paint hazard abatement act in the 90s. And you may remember that the massive window replacement program. Remember, they were replacing all these windows and moldings which contained lead. So over the years, I would say lead paint as a U.S. public health issue has really been addressed, and it's not really going to come back. So this material is sort of gone.
It's interesting, isn't it, for you? Well, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
That's all right.
Lead is a classic environmental hazard, so we're all trained in it from the get-go.
From the very beginning.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
But it's, do you think that Flint. I mean, I think now there's a whole field of environmental justice, right?
Yes.
It's taken over a lot of scrutiny. I mean, it increased the scrutiny of a lot of the unevenness of enforcement or detection or anything of a lot of different substances, no?
Absolutely. Everything from mold to asbestos to even, in this case, lead. And I think that was a big shocker, that how, in the scientific community, how is it that this was allowed to happen? So you think of environmental justice, environmental injustice, equity. It's something we fixed years ago. And to see it happening right now in Flint sort of gets you to wonder what else is happening in the U.S. What other pieces of information are not being shared?
Right, especially in all the aging houses and different stuff.
Right.
But this is also universal.
Yes, yes.
And you're very active in it, right?
Right.
I had never heard of this organization called Pure Earth. What was the name before? It was Black.
It was the Blacksmith Institute, founded about the year 2000.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate in 2005 to partner with a colleague, Richard Fuller, who needed some scientific guidance in the organization. So the purpose of Blacksmith, and now it's called Pure Earth, is essentially to identify hotspots. So here's how we do it in the U.S. We have the EPA that has a mandate to do assessments of toxic waste sites. And they basically will create these Superfund sites. And I think you know we have one here in New York City, Gowanus Canal. Globally, there's no such thing. So you go to India, you go to Asia, you go to Peru, you go to Mexico, there's no real list of toxic sites. So part of the mission of the organization is to get governments to start inventorying their toxic sites.
That's very interesting. And they do?
They do. They're reluctant because not all of them are democratic countries where they want to collect this info. Because once you collect info, then the obligation is to sort of share it with the public. And once you share it, then you sort of open up a can of worms saying, well, who's going to address this? So we get mixed
and who pays for it?
Well, the reality is low and middle income countries cannot afford environmental remediations, especially toxic sites right in the neighborhoods. So most of this funding comes from international development organizations, Asian Developmental Bank, the World Bank, IDB, as well as UN agencies offer assistance.
So everybody is involved. I mean, the United Nations, with all of its environmental actions trying to improve the environment and doing all that stuff, knows about all of this? I mean, is it well coordinated?
It is. In the last 2 years, you may have heard about indoor air pollution and air pollution, which has been deemed a carcinogenic hazard. So that, the World Health Organization declaration of that added a whole new, renewed attention on environmental hazards, and contaminated land is being included as part of that.
Does politics always play a role in all of it?
Of course. But when we work in these countries, the money will come from a multilateral agency to the government itself, and we will monitor the sort of the cleanup. So what you want to get is all the partners. You need a champion on the ground, you need an NGO, you need the health ministry, the environmental ministry to sort of all work together.
So when you go to a country, are you going to find a site, or has the site already been found?
It's usually been found, and it's been prioritized as having serious public health impacts. So the sites I usually work with have serious public health risks, meaning they're right there in the community, they're poisoning kids, they're poisoning adults, immediately. So those will get funded usually fastest, and we sort of go in there and do a remediation.
So how many other different kinds of sites have you found lead?
Well, we've been doing this toxic sites inventory program for about 10 years, and by far the largest contaminant is lead. And the source is,
amazing, huh?
Yeah, it really is surprising. It's primarily lead acid batteries and the recycling of the lead from the batteries. These are the car batteries. These sites are backyard smelters. Someone will deliver 20 batteries, pay a few dollars, and then proceed to process them in a little batch, making money for their family and their
Well, what do they do with the lead?
well, lead is, today we're not really mining much lead. There's so much lead out there that it's sort of the secondary smelter community. So today, fortunately, the automotive batteries have about 20 pounds of lead in them. All that lead gets completely recycled. So don't feel guilty using a lead acid battery. It's a remarkably recycled commodity. And all that is just being recycled.
But then who do they sell the lead to? If we don't like lead, why are we continuing its life?
Well, there are what they call storage batteries, and lead acid batteries are by far the most efficient.
So it's needed.
It's needed, yeah. Lead as a component of batteries will, in my opinion, be with us forever. Yeah, and probably should be, because when it's managed properly, it's not a hazard. So the lead in your automobiles, the lead that's storing solar energy, those batteries are lead-containing batteries.
So where was the last site you were?
The last site, well, most recently I was in Peru on a gold mining mercury project. They use mercury to extract gold, but that's a different story. The last site I was at was in Cinangka, Indonesia. It's a fascinating village. It's a village of small smelters. And by small, I mean, 5 to 8 people processing batteries. And there are about 20 of them in this town. And at the end of the processing, they'll take the molten lead and sell it. And they sell it for reusable, for batteries, or they ship it off to Asian countries. I think you probably can guess that China is a huge importer of raw lead. But then with all the waste, they were dumping it into a field. And that field became a nice football pitch, a soccer field for kids. And we, sure enough, got the health department, the ministry, to test the kids. And they had sky-high levels of lead. I mean, shockingly high levels of lead.
So then it was quite a thing, right?
Yes. So then, of course, you sort of tell the authorities about this. You look for international monies. People start donating, and we were able to clean up the site, convert it into a proper football field, and proceed to sort of educate the community and have them recycle lead in a safe manner.
Isn't that fascinating?
It is. It's it's very easy to say, let's ban lead, let's stop it. But the reality is,
well, if you need it,
you need it. A pound of lead can buy a lot of rice in these communities, and we see it all the time. So there is a safe way to work with these toxicants, but it's a challenge, because you teach a group, as you probably know as an educator, you teach a group, and then the next generation seems to forget it all. Like what happened in Flint, right?
Yeah,
this is a problem we thought we had fixed,
right.
And now all of a sudden
we had other sites, and we still have other sites, don't we? We had, Newark and the schools, and Staten Island had some, I think. I'm not sure.
Yes.
It's just been all over. Ohio, every place.
You're
DC,
right. Well, now
the District of Columbia.
Everybody's testing. You're probably curious about my house. Should I take a water sample?
Right.
But the lead that's in our water supply in the U.S. now is not coming from contaminated water. It's coming from the plumbing in the building or in the infrastructure. And this is a bigger challenge. So, and the school situation is really sad, because we had a law to test water in schools and fountains, water chillers. But due to various politics, it was never, it was overruled, and it was not done anymore.
Politics plays a strong part in the whole thing. The EPA issued regulations, and the Republicans don't like them. Yeah. They cut appropriations. How do you ever, get things done? It's a very hard thing to convince people.
Yes, and budgets are stressed at the community level. So here you are trying to manage mold assessments in a school, together with asbestos regulations, together with lead, together with underground storage tanks. So these schools are realizing, I need an environmental specialist to just manage my affairs, and that puts another stress on already.
So Legionnaire's disease, is that part of environmental medicine, public health?
Yeah, many of our students pursue that. It's definitely a environmental parameter that most environmental consulting firms will assess. It's a microbial, I think, as you know. And that's another sad story in that we had identified the problem, the original disease in Pennsylvania, and we sort of know its etiology. We know how to fix it. But all of a sudden, a new generation seems to have come online forgot. So we have water chillers in Manhattan that are not drained properly, and the cultures are growing in the water pans on the roofs and possibly causing disease.
Does it make you anxious? I mean, as you talk, I think about all these places. Hospitals, do they test regularly?
Oh, hospitals are extremely vigilant,
Yeah.
because first of all, the population that they're dealing with is just so sensitive. But in general, hospitals are very safe, are properly environmentally managed facilities. And I know many of the environmental officers at these hospitals. I think the problems very often are housing developments and condos and shopping malls where sometimes you don't say, well, why do I need an environmental specialist to manage these problems? But hospitals have everything from infection to pesticides to disinfectants.
And I'm just getting dizzy. Imports from China, from Mexico. You did a whole project in Mexico on pottery.
Oh my gosh! And in my class a few weeks back, I actually went to a local pottery store in East Harlem. I don't want to give away the location. I bought some what looked like traditional Mexican pottery, brought it into the lab, and the students tested it, and it all had leachable lead levels. So you say, how is it that in New York City people are selling pottery like this with a lead glaze on it? Now, this is not leachable,
right.
The glaze here. And the answer is it's decorative. It's not for human consumption. So there are little, there are holes in the regulations.
Mixed up because you put orange juice in a pitcher.
Yes, absolutely. I bought this lovely bowl, which has extremely leachable lead in it. If you put some salsa in there, within a day or so, you'll be able to detect lead levels.
So you teach as well as travel.
Yes, yes.
How do you do this?
Oh, it's a juggling act, yeah. I don't think I'm that busy, but people just sometimes don't know how I do it. But luckily, the academic life gives me some time to do things during intersession in the summer.
Are there more students studying this?
It is. Public health and environmental health is a steady, consistent job market. We find, well, now with the lead situation in the U.S., what we have is more awareness. So now all of a sudden, companies in whether it's a Macy's or whether it's a shopping mall will say, gee, maybe we should test our water, and who are we going to get?
So it's a field that economically you could say is a job-rich field nowadays.
Yes. We straddle the world of environmental health and occupational health. So some of our students want to do workplace safety and health assessments. Others want to do more community environmental work. So it's sort of, the market is in both.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And is it a graduate program also?
Right. We have a graduate program, and a Master's of Public Health and a Master's of Science. And I would have to say I probably have more jobs than I have students.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
So, I mean, we hear a lot about the jobs in energy stuff, but this is a whole open field, right?
It is, yeah. And it's a wonderful job, especially for a science major who wants to do some applied work.
How did you get interested in all of this?
Oh, well, being a child of the 60s and the 70s, I took a course in environmental chemistry at Queensborough Community College, my alma mater. And it was enlightening. It all clicked, and I just stayed with it all these years. And I think I love the fact that it's science and it's applied and it's public health. It all brings everything together.
It's really quite an amazing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Blacksmith or Pure Earth, it's funded by grants mostly, or is it?
Mostly foundations and international development organizations. So we work globally, so this money is coming from all sorts of places, the UN organizations, as well as World Bank, as well as Asian Developmental Bank, et cetera.
Go on. I didn't mean to cut you.
Well, there's a wonderful story, wonderful but actually very sad with regard to lead that I think we talked about earlier, and I want to mention it, and that's what happened in Nigeria. So in 2009, 2010, Doctors Without Borders went to northern Nigeria, in a state called Zamfara, to do routine vaccinations. Well, when they got there were no kids. I said, "Where are your children?" And they said, "Well, they died." And one thing led to another. The CDC, the World Health Organization, got involved. And sure enough, it's the single largest lead poisoning fatality case in history.
Yeah.
400, up to 400 children died because of lead poisoning. Now, we don't hear of lead fatalities because lead is a neurotoxin, cognitive deficits, behavior. But to see lead actually kill people is rather shocking. And
Where did the lead come from?
well, interesting, they were mining for gold, trying to extract the gold ore. But next to the gold was also lead sulfides, lead ore. So inadvertently, they were contaminating their entire villages with lead, not knowing it. So all that fine dust and powder that you see in Western Africa and some of these countries, dry climates, was really being inhaled, and in such high quantities that the children actually died.
But adults could take that better?
Well, at those levels, you do see serious acute adult related lead disease. So you'll see everything from reproductive damage, cardiovascular events. So there was some adult health effects, yeah.
It's very interesting because when you have discussions about criminal justice, often it's said that a lot of the people who are in prison came from places where there was lead, and the lead poisoning really is disruptive in the development of people, right?
Yes, there's a lot of epidemiology out that's linking behavior, violent behavior, especially in cities, with lead poisoning. And some of that has been validated globally. So even other countries are looking at the same relationships and finding the similar results. So we don't think of lead actually turning a child
Right.
either with attention deficit disorder, I don't want to say criminal behavior, but mischievous behavior that ultimately goes down a bad road.
Now, what about fracking, which is an issue of great interest in the country? What about fracking?
Fracking, I don't think it's going.
Does it present a threat?
I think it does, and I recently read about the increased threat from earthquakes, which is yes, that's a little
Oklahoma.
Yes, that's a little scary, and it's completely plausible because what we're doing is breaking solid material into a fairly soft, mobile, sandy material, so that entire
Shifting it all.
geologies may be shifted. As far as water supply, I think today the fracking, they're under such high scrutiny that they're doing it the right way. I'm a little worried it's not monitored as much. I don't believe we have regulations that require routine testing of aquifers that are being penetrated with fracking wells. So I think we need to keep a good eye on it. Yeah.
And does that come down to state regulations, really, isn't it, or is it federal?
It is, and I think you know that in New York State, I don't think we'll see fracking here at all.
Right.
Pennsylvania, it's a different story completely. But the reality is, globally, fracking is huge. So even if America stopped fracking, and to protect its water supply, as a global activity, it's just growing.
And chances are they don't frack as well as we do here.
I don't.
If that's a word. Is it a verb?
Yeah, I think it would be.
know.
I don't.
So if somebody wanted to learn more about all of these toxic waste sites or problems, what websites do you suggest?
Well, there are, of course, you could Google environmental occupational health specialists. We're at cuny.edu/School of Public Health, SPH. And there are many programs. There's undergraduate programs. There are some associate degree programs, doctoral programs. We have a doctoral program at the School of Public Health. So there's plenty to learn.
And also, if you want to learn more about International Pure Earth, .org.
Yes, it would be pureearth.org.
Where is your next visit?
I will be going to an interesting visit. I'm going to Morocco on a CUNY program. They're setting up some academic programs, and they asked from a team of us to go to Morocco, Casablanca. Then from there, I'll be going to the West Bank. That could be another story when I get back, but essentially there's electronic waste that's being shipped from Israel to the West Bank that's then being processed in the West Bank for copper. And then the copper is sent back to Israel for processing. So during that processing, it's done obviously in an environmentally risky manner. So we've been asked to go there and do sampling.
So you'll have to come back when you come back from that trip.
Well, thank you.
It's endless, you know?
It is.
And
There's always a project.
We're so lucky to have people like you to try to remediate all of these things. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
If there are any people you'd like to hear or topics you'd like us to explore, please let me know. You can write to me at CUNY TV, 365 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 10016. Or you can go to the website at cuny.tv and click on Contact Us. I look forward to hearing from you.